Hello, everybody! Welcome, Fight Legends fam, and the whole Web3 universe to Web3 Throwdown. Right now, we're going sports today, and as always, I have my co-host Smurf from Money Match Gaming on board. How you doing this morning?
Doing well this morning, feeling good.
Awesome, man. Good to hear. And as always, I know you've got your ear to all sorts of projects, and sports is no different. So I'm looking to get dive interesting one. Let me bring that up right now.
Yes, give me Luke.
Over here, technical difficulty. There we go. And so the sports initiative was kind of cool because I guess it essentially is just NFTs, but the NFT, the utility here is beyond just the PFP, and they're actually looking to have the money go back into supporting different initiatives, and people can even like sign up and say, hey, I've got a team or I'm an individual that could need the help. And so that's really nice. I thought that was a cool little dive into just sports projects in general. Right? I have a daughter who's into soccer, and it makes a world of difference. Even if you're not looking to play in college or not looking to play professionally, it makes a world of difference when it comes to just learning social skills and things like that. That maybe kids
Mm-hmm.
that aren't playing sports maybe aren't quite as affected by, or at least they're not. They don't. They're not confronted with it as much. I mean, I guess maybe video games and
Yeah.
things like that kind of do it. But what are your thoughts here? Any
Yeah,
idea?
I mean, I think the idea of it being like there being like a nonprofit type of project around sports, and helping other or athletes or teams further their endeavors in sports it's definitely a positive thing, and should be I imagine would be a big thing in the future as long as the right people like gravitate toward it and actually develop it this concept more and put it toward things. I know there's lots of different products out there on the market right now that can help things like this happen, like using like money match gaming. We use different DeFi protocols, and I'm currently working on how do we wrap hive and delegation and stuff like that and DeFi protocols and whatnot around an NFT. So then you take those NFTs on sales or whatever, and you distribute them into DeFi and protocols, and then push that back out to we pretty much operate as a nonprofit. So I can imagine the same thing happening here, even though we're for profit. Um,
Right.
but that'd be great for sports because especially like youth sports, high school sports and things like that. I It makes me think of my AAU team when I was growing up,
Hmm.
where we travel around and stuff, but we were it was a bunch of inner city kids. I was like the most middle class kid of the group,
Mm-hmm.
and like the first few years before we like won like any big tournaments and stuff like that, where all these other teams are out there and like their nice warm ups and stuff like that, and we just got tall white tees on. Like bologna sandwiches and stuff like that. But at the same time, we were winning the events. But that's all just to say that like the funding can come from somewhere because there would be parents like individual parents on occasion that would throw some money and they make it so we could eat at a nicer place or whatever have you. But if there was more of a way for, and this is that team that I was on, spawned a lot of really good players. Like it spawned some Ohio State players, some Purdue players, some Michigan players, like Michigan football players, like one of the best players over the last like decade or so, like in the defensive end position, or no, just end position. Mr. Basketball from Ohio State, like a bunch of really good players and stuff like
Right.
that spawned from the team. But we were really bare bones in it, and I imagine just thinking from my team itself, like teams like that would stay together more because you get the experience and it's great that you get to travel and stuff like that. But some of those teams that stay together more, if and those organizations would stay together, because eventually our coach couldn't continue the stuff that he was doing.
Sure.
But if they had some type of funding backing that, because eventually our team players started to go to teams like Nike and Adidas,
Right.
And those they see your players and they start to siphon your team apart, and so that's stuff that starts to happen.
So it adds a little incentive, or I don't know how to look at that. I guess the best way to look at it is it's taking away some of the leverage those bigger brands with more money have. When you're like, okay, well, maybe you're giving me a little more, but I can make more here, right? When we start implementing these blockchain technologies.
Mm-hmm.
And I get to stay with my team and my friends and my community.
Yeah, your coach.
Yeah.
It just makes it possible because, like part of the thing was like, well, we can take you to all of these different tournaments versus your team might be able to afford, 2 or 3 big tournaments a year, maybe. Like, we're definitely gonna go to like the nationals and like a state tournament or something like that, and then more local tournaments. But on the Nike team, they're just like, all right, we're taking you here this weekend.
Yeah. Sports gets expensive, man. I don't know what they make those jerseys out of, but damn, they are not giving those things away, bro.
But great concept, and can't wait to see it practice more and like more nonprofits really take see that potential there. I know my mother works in nonprofits, and
Right.
I'd mentioned NFTs to her like a few months ago, and it's like the first time she had heard of them.
Interesting.
Like, mind blown.
Yeah, well, there's a lot there, isn't there? I mean, if you start looking into it on that side of things, there's plenty of use case and utility to have. So, awesome. Well, next we're gonna look at some exercise apps. Let's see if I can get my storyboard right here. Oh, I nailed it. All right, exercise is next. We've got so first we want to cover is Steppin'. Now this is the one I've just heard of a lot. I mean, actually, we could go Actifit because Actifit from I don't know if that was Steam.
Hive community.
Was it Hive or
yeah? Maybe it was initially Steam.
Yeah, it might have been back in the day.
If it's got Steam and Hive, I imagine it's a little bit older.
Yeah. So that was my one that I got on my phone. That's the one I use that we're looking at right now. Just the front end homepage. It looks like here. First social cross-chain multi-reward move to earn gamified project with a DeFi twist. Because you could, go ahead and stake some of that back into the project, from what I understand. I don't know if I have any staked here. Do you use Actifit at all?
I don't use Actifit. I remember seeing this before, but yeah, I don't use it. I mean, I don't use Steppin' either. I need to get on like one of these. I feel like when I look at the research behind them, not to give away anything too much about Steppin' right now, but I feel like Actifit is, it's from the Steam and Hive community, and those are people that are a little bit deeper in crypto than Solana folks.
Yes.
Like Solana folks, they came along for the NFTs and just to flip NFTs, and it's like, okay, but what about the utility behind the blockchain and like how you can use DeFi and leverage this and that, loans, etc. And Actifit seems to have that going, and I think that'll make, if anything else, like as you were saying, it's got Steam back behind it. It's probably that much older of a project. I don't know what the date on this thing is, like when it started. But it's probably tested through some waters. And if the two went head to head, I'd imagine that this one would last longer than Steppin', if it came down to it.
Yeah, I wonder if Steppin's
unless they start to change.
Yeah. I wonder if Steppin's even Apple and Android. I wonder. 1.5 million worth of NFTs reached. 500,000 Twitter follows. Blah blah blah. I mean, you're totally right. This is something that came out of nowhere for me. Really just in the last couple of weeks, I heard, and as I started doing research for this show, this came up. But I heard some, mixed bag, right, as far as like how long term of a success it might be. So, yeah, definitely everyone worth doing some research on, though. And then the other one that's big is Olympia. I don't know if you've heard of this one.
Yeah, I'm not familiar with Olympia as much as the other two, so
Olympia,
looking at it,
yeah.
But
Earn OLX. I'm not sure what this is on then. They're from the UK. Let's see here. Pre-sale just kicked off. It's a promo. 4 key differences between Olympia and other move-to-earn projects. Why is OLX worth it? Okay, let's pop in here real quick.
Yeah, hit me with those differences.
Let's see. No entry barrier. While other apps require you to buy NFTs or other digital assets, Olympia, you just need to connect your favorite activity tracker and start earning. Okay, so it uses a third-party tracker. Interesting. Our core values. That's an interesting way to do it, because ActiveFit's basically created their own tracker. Right? So that's what it seems like in the app. So bigger earnings. Olympia will integrate GameFi elements that that allow players to earn more than on any other app. For instance, the captain mode allows users to build teams that compete against each other and to earn on the physical activity of their unlimited number of team members. And then multi-sport rewards practices of all sports, not just walking and running. Yeah, I mean, that's been something that's been a little weird. Like, some of them, like, I actually use like a Web2 app, activity app that has like jujitsu in it. And I'm like, thanks, but first of all, I don't have my fucking phone on me when I'm rolling. Yeah. So it's like, can I just put like the time in, and like, it's basically put in the time and the vigor of the activity, like moderate, extreme, light, right? And then that's basically how I do it, because there's no real way to do it other than that. So they say they're partnering with sports associations, tournaments, clubs, and court booking systems. I see. To reward the practice of certain activities that are more difficult to track. That's kind of cool. I get that. So you book a pick 'em up game at the local court, and you get X amount of rewards, maybe. That's kind of cool. And then sustainable economy. Many GameFi and M2E projects have no clear model and legitimate profit to support the tokenomics. The Olympia model is based on the creation of new and real economy of sport. Interesting. Yeah, so something to look into. Kind of different take on it. So that's always kind of something worth following and keeping an eye on. Yeah. Let's see what else. So next, that's all we got for exercise on my end. Definitely worth looking into. Next, we've got Memorabilia, which, I don't know about you. You collect cards or anything like that growing up?
Yeah. I had a nice collection of football cards, basketball cards. Took advantage of the NBA strike in my youth, and got a nice collection of old school basketball cards and stuff. So, nice. If ever comes a really, really rainy day, I have some old Pistol Pete Maravich cards and stuff of that sort. I can sell these. I can sell some like Hakeem Abdul-Jabbar, like all sorts of like the greats and stuff like that, from like some Topps cards and everything else. So
nice. Okay.
Really nice ones. But yeah, I'm into it. I see the value in it. Like it was like that was my first introduction into like flipping and stuff like that. Not much more before Pokemon cards, or maybe like around the same time. My dad like noticed that you like these Pokemon cards and stuff like that, but look at these over here where you can actually make money off of them, and it's the stuff that you like.
So you were actually not just collecting. Had you ever actually flipped or sold an actual physical sports card?
I did not personally sell. Okay. I sold like a few to like friends and stuff like that, but I'm not like going to like when I was and stuff. It would be just to buy the cards. So I would just be like collecting like a long-term book, and my father kind of beat it into me like early on, like, the idea is not to just buy it and then like sell it right away. He's like, you want to sit on these for like 20, 30 years. And then, next time something big happens, or when this person retires or something like that, these are going to be worth a lot of money.
Right. Interesting. Yeah. That's interesting to think of, because I definitely was given them as presents and instilled the idea that like you collect them, and there was never talk of selling them as far as I remember, right? Like it was just I have a couple like full sets. I think it's like a 90s Flare or Leaf Flare, was it something like that? And they had like a Kemp rookie in there and a couple other good cards, but nothing, no like Kareem Abdul-Jabbars or anything. That's a nice one. That's cool.
Yeah, just some cool ones. Some of them are black and white. There's some really cool ones, but this is the new.
Exactly, right? So
and Dapper Labs seems to be leading the way.
I believe so. Yeah, I mean, they've got so many I haven't even actually looked into that aren't even on here. So NFL all day, the drama, the stories, the moments. So is that basically Top Shots for football? Have you looked into these at all?
I haven't seen the NFL one. No, I haven't seen the NFL one too much.
Oh, okay. We'll be sending 5 lucky fans on an all-day, all-access trip to LA next week. That was okay. Well, still, that's very cool. Sending 1 NFL trips. Which of these rookies are you looking to add to your collection? Yeah, I mean, it looks like they're gonna do a Top Shot style thing for the NFL.
Yeah, yeah. I imagine that's just going to keep spreading.
Yeah,
it's just going to keep working its way out. And I know there's Top Shots, and the first NFT collection that I saw doing like the sports memorabilia stuff was actually Topps themselves.
Interesting.
I was like, oh, Topps is in the game. That was like 2 years ago now or something. I feel like, but yeah, they were early on wax.
Topps Digital, maybe.
Yeah.
Oh,
I mean, it was just it was just there was like whatever. Maybe they call it digital, but it was Topps, and they were on wax, and yeah, it was the same old that you're used to. Like, but it was started with MLB, which is like I feel like classic Topps, and yeah, you could just get your stuff on the wax blockchain, get those first early editions.
Dang. Well, yeah, I'm looking at the Topps Digital Twitter account right now, and they've got baseball, they've got soccer, they've got Disney, they've got Star Wars, they've got wrestling, like WWE wrestling, just Topps NFTs, official page of Topps NFT collectibles. Okay, we'll open another one. Topps Marvel, Topps NHL, all on there in their bio. So yeah, you're right, they're definitely in it.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah, it's cool to see the them moving and not being left behind. Don't get blockbustered out.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, well, man, any smart executive sees that and they're like, oh my gosh, okay, well, how do we figure out how to not do that? And of course, this industry is going to come up as one of the possibilities and the best route for the long.
Yeah. Because we're like on the UFC and collectors. You might mention the one from Memorabilia that you had listed there autograph.
Oh yeah.
.io. Yeah.
Bring that one out.
Just want to make a quick segue over that. Partially because I feel like with these, there's the question with NFTs. Everybody's always, oh, you can right click that or this or that, and like obviously, the whole purpose of a card, like you might be able to find that exact same image from that card or that exact same dunk or whatever the heck on the internet, and it's not the card, and so it doesn't really matter to the collector. So there's that portion of it. But what I saw from this autograph collection of NFTs and stuff, like not just that they're promising the experiences and this and that, but that they're trying to, I guess it was the experience thing, they're trying to give a little bit more utility behind the NFTs.
Right.
And so the first layer of that, and I don't know how deep these layers are going to go, but the first layer of that was a very simple thing of utility that you can give to people, which is just like membership to something. So Fight Legends has that,
Yep.
Where you get access to certain things in Discord, you get access to this club type of feature. And so that's something really simple that a lot of these different NFT projects can do. And I think the more successful ones that make it out of this bear market are going to figure out that it's not just a profile picture. If you really just made a profile picture NFT and there was no club type of incentive or access to anything else, your project is probably going to be the one to fall off the first. People are like, well, what else can I get off of it other than the art? And like, well, you shouldn't
especially right now
type of aspects to it. Yeah. So like they're actually considering that. And I think that's going to be a big part of it. And then, like, other than the membership to a type of thing, I think they're also saw something about them like having access to certain type of events and whatnot. And so, like, anytime anybody asks me about, what can NFTs actually be used for, and they're like, kind of like, I don't understand or whatever. I'm like, think of ticketing, receipts. Like,
that's an easy one.
That's the easiest thing. Like, it's the digital ticket that can like yes, and like they're like, oh, well, what about the image? I'm like, well, then you can update the image, and the image really doesn't matter, then does it? Like. It's nice to have it. It's nice to look at that. Oh, look, they had gold trim on this ticket. But it got you access to something, and it's a historical reference, a historical receipt. And so the fact that they can do that as well. But yeah, it seemed like all that was kind of being wrapped up in this autograph one. They also had some big names playing there. I'm sure Tom Brady is on the board, not just as like a person who's probably interested in this, because I believe they're like somewhat of a decent investor. But also just like a great figurehead to have. And then the other name that kind of like, I was like, oh, they have somebody with some salt on the deck, which was Sam Bankman-Fried, Mr. Billionaire, Mr. Billions.
Okay.
So Sam Bankman-Fried, I think the founder of FTX. And I'm not sure what his position at FTX is specifically. Like, I don't know if it's CEO or some type of president or whatever, but founder of FTX. So yeah, those things. I'm like, oh, okay, they got something good going for him here. So I imagine this one probably make it out of the bear market as well, as long as they keep developing those things. And I just think, that juxtaposition between the Dapper Labs side of things and Autograph was interesting there. And I'm not seeing it so much from the Dapper Labs one, where there's like they seem to be more on like those moments in time and stuff.
Yes, exactly. It's a little different,
which is still big.
Right.
But yeah, Memorabilia, the autograph.io seems to be about not so much those moments that you can see there's a bunch of Tom Brady's face,
Yeah.
but you're getting access to something. It's on a deeper level, so you're getting this is their autograph, and then it's access to something.
Yeah, it says something about you get access to a Discord. Get access to Autograph's private community Discord. So I'm sure in the future, Autograph will try and put together some events where you can meet some of the people and things like that.
Like a V-Friends thing, for any marketers out there, people into marketing, Gary V, and he's got his VCon and stuff like that. So
exactly, yeah, which is going on next
soon,
week,
right?
a couple days, yeah. It kind of snuck up on me, right? Or I would have been there, honestly. It's probably pretty cheap because it's Minnesota. We probably could have shown up, but kind of under the radar for me for some reason. I don't even know how, but yeah. Anyways, let's see. So yeah, I also agree. Autograph was a very cool one to find. Let's see. We got some comments in here. Anything? Discord booster for this project. This is one for sure. I'm a big. No. I have no idea what they're saying. Okay, next we've got betting. So actually expected to find a bit more in this realm, but I think the ones I had seen, unfortunately, might have gone the wayside. Unfortunately, but I did find one called Prediction Strike, a platform for users to invest in shares of professional athletes, just like stocks. Not exactly betting, almost like betting meets fantasy. It's exactly right. It's like a little bit, it dips its toe into all of them a little bit. So for instance, MLB is live. Baseball IPOs are here, and our biggest promotion yet is here with it. Get a free share with every $25 you deposit up to $5,000. Now this is interesting. What is it? A baseball IPO? So not athletes, but the sport. Join me on Prediction Strike, the stock market for sports fans, and get a closer look at the game than ever. Let's see if we can get some more information here. Do they have a website? Doesn't look like it.
Oh, there's there wasn't a whole lot on it from what I saw. I guess actually no, it led me to like the Apple Store thing.
Right, Apple only. Yeah, I saw this. I remember now. This is interesting though. Like to think that this is if it's basically them putting like a token behind each athlete. You have to be able to tie the athlete into it. Like I'm not going to invest in, any particular player's NFT or a token rather, if they're not tied to it, because that kind of be the whole point.
Yeah, my thing with like stuff like this is like I feel like it could, something like this can have success even if it's not directly tied to the athlete. Because I think MetaFan is like another one on the list. I believe that had like some similarities to something like this, where they were, and I saw another project on Wax like long ago, like over a year ago, that like was using kind of like the fantasy type of thing, but like you buy like an athlete's NFT card or whatever, and then that athlete does well, you like earn prizes or whatever the heck, same way you do in fantasy. However, they were not using the exact likeness of the athlete. And I don't know if they're going to be doing that in this one or not. I know they have the images out there on the website and stuff, but like who knows how far they're going to go in there as far as like the actual likeness and actual partnering with the athlete. And I think those things really would get you the real money maker. If you're just doing like straight up purchase, and that's where your real revenue is coming from. But other than that, I feel like what a lot of these projects are missing is kind of and it's the same. They don't have more marketing and stuff. I feel like Hive is like suffering from marketing. From like bigger names and stuff.
Sure.
But what ActiveFit has, which was like actual DeFi components wrapped around the project. Same thing for Steppen. Steppen, Olympia, like these are cool concepts and stuff. But what a lot of these projects are missing, other than like somebody straight up purchasing them and then, making money from whatever, like honestly, almost Ponzi-ish. But money has to come in for you to be able to make money.
Yep.
There needs to be some type of, what do you do with the money? How is the money being utilized? For there to actually be like a true economy around it. Or you even have burning mechanisms or stuff like that. Things that we're used to in cryptocurrency, which they do in the United States too, quantitative easing, quantitative tightening. But a lot of these are kind of missing that factor, and so that's like my thing when I'm like, I see like something like this where I'm like, okay, you got that coming in, but how long can you sustain those prize pools and stuff like that if you don't have any type of decentralized finance, centralized finance component, something going in there to actually make money for the project?
That's true. That's fair. And that's probably where the ones that I was using early on, in this run, I guess like towards the middle of the bull run, are no longer there, and I couldn't find them because you got to have something set. If you don't have that pool of money, then there's got to be something, some kind of mechanism baked into it. Yeah. So this was an interesting tweet I saw from under the prediction strike. All my NBA predict strike investments are playing today. It's either going to be really green day or a really red day. So I'm trying to gather what I'm looking at here. So this is what he has put in on Atacatuno. I can never say that guy's name. So Anti.
That long name.
Yeah. Name. Big boy. And then Luka, who had a great game, obviously, recently against the Suns. So they're in the finals, conference finals now. So yeah, that's a good bet. But see, so if it's in the red, that means the stock went down because they lost, maybe because Booker and the Suns lost, maybe. I wonder what that means.
Yeah, I'm like, curious, or maybe it's like, I don't know. Maybe they're cheaper.
Because Brown's on the Celtics, they won, and I think he even had a good game. This is just from the other day, the 15th. So yeah, that was just the other day. He had a good game, I think. So that is interesting. Maybe it does mean they're cheaper.
Yeah.
Something worth looking into. Yeah.
Yeah, and it's playing with that that fantasy realm of things. But again, like my like nothing bad against them. Seems like it's a cool concept. I'm just like looking for, like, whenever I look at NFT projects and stuff like that, I'm looking for longevity.
Yeah.
And if it really is wrapped around, we need people to be buying in. We're not going to be, even making these cards more scarce or something like that. The players more scarce. Only so many people can get, like, whatever. And then it's a hard buy for me. Yeah. It's hard. But it's a cool concept, and it does play with that fantasy sports realm of things. I noticed you had like Leauge and SoRare.
Yeah.
Those are two other ones like in the fantasy realm that are in Swoops, which is also going to have some of that stuff to do with like very similar to what we were seeing here. But I think they also, especially like the Swoops one, I'm not sure what SoRare's backing is, but they've been around for a while. But it's got enough venture capitalist backing and more than likely centralized funding of some sort, using things like stocks and bonds and whatever else they want to help sustain those prize pools that we're talking about.
Yeah, it's Swoops. I mean, I'm going to actually bring that one up, and then we can cover SoRare. But with Swoops, it's basically like a card NFT game, is it not? It's not actually backed to actual athletes or leagues?
Oh, it's supposed to be back to actual athletes, too.
Oh, is it? Okay.
So, what was I just reading on that? Hold on, let me pull up this thing that was covering it. It was so the breakdown of like how it was Swoops allows users to the ability to own, draft, train, and stake their players. So individual players, the players can win cash prizes for owners. The players will be represented with NFTs that have off-chain and on-chain attributes. And so I thought that was a cool thing because if it's on-chain for an NFT or something like that, then it's kind of like the metadata is like stuck, or your stats are stuck, and you do something difficult. And see, like even here, like if they kept it like those like robotic type of things, that they're not actually using that athlete's likeness, they're just using the name. It's not way more. If it's on chain, then there's only so much you can change. These are MJ stats for this season straight up. They're not changing throughout the entire season, which is, especially if you play video games like football games or basketball games in nowadays. They'll switch that every other week or something like that. They'll update those stats. And so it needs to be off-chain so they can do that. And so they were mentioning that they're going to be doing that. And so there's a little bit more moving with this, which is pretty cool. Those are going to be changing. representing off chain, including height, age, position, basketball IQ, shooting agility, and speed. So things
Okay.
like injuries and stuff like that will come into effect, I'm sure.
Oh,
And
yeah.
again, like if they're not using the characters, the individual player's likeness, they only need so much permission from the player. They don't really, I don't think they need any permission from the player at this point, honestly. If they're not using the likeness,
You
it's
can
just their
use the
name.
name as yeah, that's
Yeah.
fine, I think. Yeah.
Yeah.
Hmm.
Yeah. So some cool stuff there, and it is like that fantasy type of thing. So there's prize money to be made, and there's things that you can do with it, and I think they're gonna try to do some other elements to it. But
Interesting.
pretty cool one.
Yeah, that's a good point because that's something we've actually been talking about. We were making moves to bring IRL athletes into Fight Legends, and once we're bringing on some investors and other people and advisors, and we started talking about like how limiting that is to have to be representative of like the actual individual accurately, and how it might be better for the game and the partnerships with these athletes if like it's actually like the athlete works with the developers to create an inspired character that's inspired by them, right? So it's a Ross
Hmm.
Levine or a Shannon Briggs or a Mike Tyson inspired character, which frees us up to stick to our to the art style and to the lore and all sorts of different things. So that's kind of the direction we're taking too. So it definitely makes sense to do it that way for these guys at Swoops. So yeah, that makes it more interesting that it's actually tied to the real players. So
Yeah, yeah, and
interesting.
yeah, they got a DraftKings backing there,
Hmm.
so I can
Huge.
imagine they're not going to be shying away from the betting side of things.
Exactly.
Yeah, yeah, some cool stuff.
Awesome. All right. Well, I guess that means it's overtime. But what else do we got? What did we miss? What are we looking to cover in the future? I
I know
mean,
you briefly touched on SoRare,
oh
so I
yeah,
can just mention a little bit more, which is like that's pretty much a management game. So that was the first NFT sporting game that I saw, and it was like one of those situations where I was like, man, I should have jumped on it when it was like super early because I
right.
saw it so early. Like, what was it, like early 2020 or something, 2021? I think it was really early before like the bull market and stuff like that really took off. However, I'm not a football or soccer guy, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
Like
yeah.
that type of football. I'm not a soccer guy. And so I mentioned it, I saw it, and I was like, oh, this is going to be huge. These are affordable. They were at the time. And then at one point in time, they weren't really that affordable. So I threw it to my friend who's like a really big, he wakes up at like 6 a.m. to watch the matches in
Right.
Europe and stuff like that. So I was like, yo, you need to buy some of
Check
these
this.
NFTs and like
Yep.
you could actually manage a team. I would not know what I'm doing, bro. I can't spot the deals when there's like a deal in the marketplace or anything like that. I can't see it.
Like a player on the
But
cheap
you
sort of
can.
thing. Yeah.
Yeah, sometimes because you can find like people are selling their different player cards and stuff like that, and it might be a good goalie or a good forward or something like that. And I don't
Mm.
know, uh, but yeah, it's that type of management thing. So this was like the first fantasy sports type of NFT project that I saw, and it's still around. Um, they do have we're talking about the likeness of these players and stuff like that. They do have the actual likeness of these players
Right.
on these cards. So there's some backing there.
Hmm.
Yeah, serious project though.
Heck yeah. And they've recently announced that they're coming up with a baseball MLB.
Oh,
So this let's check that one out here. So yeah, let's see. SoRare MLB. So I mean that just shows you. I mean they're teaming up with these leagues, and every it kind of reminds me of what is it? Recent like sports games have that mode, like it's the career mode, but it's basically you're collecting cards, like Ultimate Team, basically that
Oh
EA has
yeah, yeah,
done,
yeah. They do that.
sort of
What
that
do they
thing.
call that? Yeah, it's alt. It's like ultimate something. Yeah,
Well, Ultimate
mutt,
Team,
mutton Madden. It's like
yeah,
Madden Ultimate Team.
yeah, exactly, yeah. So I got like Neon Dion, like on offense and defense, yeah, so and I loved those. I always nerded out for those because that reminded you again of like collecting cards when you were a kid and stuff like that. So this is like just a step towards that, except haven't gotten to that level of game development when it comes to like sim sports games. Like that's down the road when it comes to Web3, but this is a huge step towards that direction, right?
Yep. Yep. Yeah.
Very cool.
Looking awesome.
Yeah, so I
Yeah.
imagine this will be pretty big, the baseball one.
Yeah. I mean, baseball is tried and true. So yeah, I imagine the baseball is gonna be big. I think Swoops will be big because it's covering the basketball
Mm-hmm.
side of things. For anybody that didn't notice, that was basketball only for Swoops.
Yep.
But yeah, baseball, basketball, and you showed that football one previously, but I don't know how big that one's going to be in comparison to these other two.
Yeah.
But those are the three big American sports. And America is a large market when it comes to crypto and NFTs and stuff. So I do feel like once those are solidified, or who knows which company it's going to be. Maybe it's going to be also rare, but once one of those companies really jumps in there, I think huge market. And like you were saying, after it gets past this card collecting phase, and like if it can get into sim, that'll just be ridiculously big.
Absolutely, yeah. And I knew I had like a friend that did that one. So Fantasy Combat is a play-to-earn fantasy sports game, MMA. It's using likenesses. Now, it was actually... when I first discovered this, I instantly thought, oh, damn, how are they getting away with using likeness and name like this? So I don't know if they've taken routes towards that or not, but I did remember that there was a UFC kind of based fantasy NFT game, so that's what it is, Fantasy Combat with a K, if anyone wants to check that out. And then Leauge DAO was decentralized, tokenized, and shaken up fantasy sports. Leauge DAO enables a global community of fans to collectively play, build, and define the future of fantasy gaming. We're combining the best of DeFi protocols, play-to-earn gaming, and NFTs to create a Web3 fantasy gaming reality where users can own and trade the players on their team, and where on-chain scoring is based on real-world stats. So this is like you create your own. It's interesting.
Yeah, that was like, I was like starting to think, I'm like, there's one that I read about that like reminded me of what you were saying with the sim and stuff like that.
Right.
It was leaked out, yeah, where it's like, your own type of characters. Seemed like kind of like what you were mentioning there.
Oh, so you could basically do your own version of Swoops using the Leauge DAO, basically.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Seemed like it, kind of like, it was like I guess it was like almost like fictitious characters or whatever have you.
Okay.
This is the one I'm thinking of.
Stake team.
Mint your fantasy football player tokens. Oh, this one was actually using some. I think they had like multiple versions of it. Yeah, like there was multiple things going on here there.
Right.
Because scroll down their page and then Nomo player tokens.
Right.
And that was some that were like utilizing. It's funny. It says Joe Flacco, but it's like a blue guy with like purple horns.
Right.
I'm like, all right, yeah, sure, that's Joe Flacco.
Yeah, there is lots of different stuff going on there.
But I feel it, and like I understand totally what they're going for, because I'm going through that experience with Money Match Gaming where we wanted to make player cards and stuff like that. And so, but the whole likeness thing, and also other than the likeness, which I think would be that much easier for us to get access to from a lot of these up and coming esports players.
Sure.
But then they're shy. But then they're shy and stuff like that. And they're like, I don't know if I want it. It's not going to be a good selfie. How are you going to make it look? Bro. Like, you know what? I'm just going to make a 3D character for everybody. They're all very basic until we get to a certain level. But you'll get your own quote on the card, to have like your stats on the card and stuff like that. It'll be like a representation of you.
Absolutely. Yeah, so that's definitely going to be huge in the future. That's coming down the pike real quick. And then what was the last one that we were trying to touch upon was like tokenized leagues or leagues backed by tokens. Yeah. So.
Yeah. I feel like a good place to go, like probably if you go to like a CoinGecko or something. And then, they have so some tokens that I know of are PSG token, which was the first one that I saw on PancakeSwap like 2 years ago or so. And this was what initially got me into PancakeSwap. Like I was already in the DeFi.
Interesting.
And I saw that you could take the cake token and you could use it to farm out PSG tokens. and so I was like, oh, like you can like PSG. Let me do my research on this. Like, oh, this is legit.
$5.
This is legit. How do they got PSG? Like, oh my goodness, I look more into this PancakeSwap stuff. And then, like, sure enough, they got other tokens out there. Like I think FC Barcelona has their own token. It's like a bar token. Milan has the token. So yeah, and these are like the biggest of the biggest teams. Like FC Barcelona, we talking FC Barcelona, Milan, and Paris. These are like
12 million
great teams.
PSG
these are the great.
Yeah.
Great. If you don't know soccer, these are the great teams
in
soccer. There's like a few others like Arsenal and like whatever, but like these are the greats.
Interesting. That's
and they
crazy.
have tokens on the blockchain, and these are fan-based tokens, and so your fans can get them, and they can do them to do things like get access to the arena and like tickets and whatever have you, buy stuff in the stadium. And again, the coolest thing that I thought about it was like, wow, you can get these, and I think they have, maybe some of them have staking protocols, but whatever. But you can get them and you can farm them from Pancake Swap. So you buy some cake tokens, and you could have just sat them down and just been farming up a whole bunch of games. like that's pretty cool.
Yeah, that's huge. I mean, this is the sort of thing that I suppose, like, there's a collision between like Web 2 and Web 3, right? And it's just those special people that are in that Goldilocks zone that are soccer fans and they're into it, like, and they're gonna jump on it, and then even guys that aren't even into it and are just looking for opportunities are gonna obviously kind of stumble in on that too. But this is huge, right? And I'm sure I had mentioned before we went live that there's a couple, like at least one MMA league out there that's trying to have like a token that backs them. So it's definitely something I'm seeing go around as a way to support leagues, and I could see that kind of on a local, smaller level probably too, right? If a whole bunch of guys, I don't know, yeah. If like you had like a whole crew that went out and did like regular like basketball games, I wonder if like somehow it would be worth creating some sort of community token, or if it has to be a bigger community than that.
I feel like something like that would work. Just spitballing, I'm like, I feel like something like that will work on, because we've seen city tokens, Miami Coin,
Sure,
and stuff like that.
They're having
So
mixed results though.
yeah, having mixed results, but I think there's a little bit more demand behind being able to go to all the high school football events or basketball events in your city. Like those were big in my town.
Sure.
Like, and then it was like, it wasn't just a town, it was like a city. But like, you go to the high school events versus like, we'd have a big game versus another school, and there'd be 10,000 people viewing us.
Right.
Like we'd have to pack out the college venue, and you go to one of the college games, and they'd only have so many people viewing it. They would have way less than our games.
Right. Exactly.
So I'm like, we're pulling more people than the college. They're paying to see us.
Yeah,
it's cool. But like that just lets me know that like there's demand for these, and like football too. So football's huge in America and stuff like that, especially depending on what state and what region you go to.
Yeah,
Midwest is really big for basketball and stuff. Not that football isn't big, but you go down to Southern and Texas and stuff like that, and it's that much bigger.
College football huge. Yeah.
And so I imagine like cities, states, and stuff like that could get away with like these type of programs. If they did like a tokenized or NFT model for their sports, then it'd probably be huge. It'd be ridiculously huge, and it'd fund a lot more stuff. Like all of a sudden, these stadiums can get better. Because in our city, like also only the best. Like we had a really nice stadium actually. We had a dome stadium.
Nice.
But we can only fit so many people. That's why we had to go to the college and stuff like that. But like only the best schools have like dome stadiums and like jumbotrons and stuff like that. Versus start to do that for every school, like actually get them better bleachers and stuff like that, have them, because that also makes it, and I'm not just saying for like glitz and glam of it, but if you can fit more people into your gym, if there's better amenities, then your school makes more money. Like if you can fit more people in the gym flat out, you all of a sudden you can charge 1,000 people $5 a ticket, $10 a ticket, whatever have you, and that money's going to your school. So.
Absolutely love it. All right, man. Well, I think that's about it. Next Web3 Throwdown is kind of up in the air. Have you been watching? Let's go back. Have NBA playoffs yet at all?
I have not. I'm catching a few highlights here and there.
Sure.
We're getting toward my tune-in time.
It's getting hot out there, man. I was surprised.
I've been watching my Luka highlights.
Okay.
Seeing the Lil Wayne controversy.
Yeah.
Timing it.
Oh yeah.
Like, okay, spicing up. It's about that time.
Yeah. I'm going. I'd like to see Celtics, Warriors. Right. Have like those are like the two best shooting teams I'd say right now. So that'd be fun to watch. But yeah, we're gonna see. It's heating up. These are two good conference finals coming up. So definitely looking at that. Trying to figure out a way to like how do we do like a regular sports like Web3 Sports Center. Like we got to figure this out. Like whether we are all in, we get like a whole bunch of a crew of people like in on like one of these fantasy games or something like that, and we like report it weekly somehow. Like, so that we have a reason to talk about the playoffs more than I already do, right? Because my wife's tired of hearing about it. I got her into it though, right? Like the other day, she's like steals the controller from me. I'm like, what are you doing? And she's like, I'm trying to find the bracket. Like, where are we at? Like, who won last night? And I was like, oh yeah, I gotcha.
Okay, it's all right.
Gotcha. Yeah, I'll let this pass then. But yeah, so that's my future plan. That'd be cool if we could get something like that. If we've got the time. I know my coworker and Web3 guy Vinny is definitely keen on probably doing something like that. So yeah, on the future, he'll probably be on a future episode too. So whatever we do. But for next week, yeah. What have we not done? Did we do like banking? I thought about something like City Coins. I was wondering where to go next, or do we go back to like overviews, like just Web3? Yeah, or
yeah.
Do we have another niche that we need to cover? Did we do like a banking one?
I don't know that we did banking. I don't think we did, because I don't remember talking about
That's going to be heavy.
The Venuses and the Aves. And
no, you're right. We haven't. Okay, let's go banking for the next one.
Yeah, I'm actually doing a video today.
Oh, perfect.
Hopefully with the Money Match Gaming, our other co-founder, the Infinite.
Okay.
Because he hasn't been in one of my crypto and investing 101 videos yet. But yeah, been covering things like that. And today, we're covering the Bretton Woods Agreement.
I don't even know what that is.
The petrodollars.
Oh,
all this
shit.
other fun stuff.
Okay. Dang. See, I need to do that. I need to cover this stuff with you just so I keep on the up and up, right? There's so much to cover.
I mean, like, yeah, you'd love to have you on one, because yeah, it's all about, you know, just choosing people that are interested in crypto and investing and stuff, and there's just so much to learn. But I feel like, you know, hopefully at the end of this like little playlist that I make, and I'm cutting it up in individual videos too, like smaller videos out of the long video. But hopefully at the end of it, when people go through and they watch some of this stuff, they're just going to learn so much about investing and the markets and macro. That, you know, it makes you that much better of a cryptocurrency or stock or whatever investor, because you just start to understand more of the world and like where things are, you know, okay.
There's a shitload of trees in this forest, and when you're walking through that bad boy, you easily get lost. So learning that stuff lets you zoom out and have a better perspective, man. And that's why, you know, I've been into 2016, but I'm just now starting to make moves because I was learning at my own pace when I had time, and I did not want to get burned. So it was like, okay, I'm going to, you know, the safest routes, right? But now, you know, once you start working in the industry, you're like, well, it's full bore ahead, baby. So yeah, you're my Sherpa.
Yeah. I mean, thank you. I'll try to guide you safely up the mountain.
Yeah, don't let us both freeze on the top of the...
No, sir. We're all chained together.
Absolutely. Exactly. All right, man. Well, I'll let you go. We'll see you next week. We'll do a Web3 Throwdown banking version. And, you know, stay tuned. Of course, please like and subscribe if you're watching on YouTube. Make sure you're following on Fight Legends Twitter for all those updates, and get in our Discord too. We've got AMAs, and all the events are scheduled up in our Discord as well. So we'll see you next time on Web3 Throwdown. Later.